How are you, Max?
Good, going well.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Just, perfect. Set the year in good position. The boys are pretty fit. How are you looking forward to September?
Yeah, it's a great time of year. Obviously, the cliche of why you play football is for this time of the year, but my first 11 years not getting to a September at all, to be able to play in the last three, and certainly the result of last year sort of makes you think going into this one that you really want to make sure no stone is left unturned. You want to really have a genuine crack. Not saying I didn't do that or we didn't do that in 2022. You just want to put an exclamation mark on that to make sure you get the most out of this little period. But we put ourselves in a good spot at the start of the year. You just want to get into that top four spot. We're there, but now it's an even playing field as well. There's 8 teams. They're all in tremendous form. The guys in the bottom half of the 8 are actually the teams dominating at the moment in terms of Carlton and Giants and the Swans. So, it's an even playing field from now.
What kind of work with Melksham and Dunstan and sort of almost mourning on their behalf?
Yeah, it was a grim day. I saw Bailey Laurie come on the ground. I initially thought it might have been Bailey Fritsch because I did see Bailey limp off the ground. But then when I saw Bailey come back on, I'm quite close with Jake and had got around that Jake might have hurt his knee. You could have picked, not that you would go through another 45 guys to pick that injury on, but a guy who missed out on 2021, the career he's had with the club he was at formerly with the Bombers and what went on there with the year off, and then to be in career best form, going into an out of contract year, like it's literally the perfect storm that's happened. And luckily enough, he's a real mature guy, and the conversations I've had with him since, you can't believe how well he's talking and already talking about the Melksham return, which is a hard thing to cop for him because he's in the best nick of his career going into a final series. So, and Luke as well. Luke was really, really close in play in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Some of his VFL form has been unbelievable, and for both of them to go down on the eve of final series for both teams, it really is disappointing.
How's Bailey's foot?
As you know, we get prepped up for these press conferences. I've been told he'll be off legs this week. But, I mean, he's smiling, laughing around, so I'm presuming he's going to be okay. I can only go off the doctor and Bailey's words, and they're all systems go for Thursday night.
Max, you mentioned the exclamation point in terms of making sure you make the most of the finals this year. Did you learn much from the 2 losses during September last year?
Certainly bad traits or bad habits that you were sort of getting away with in home and away, you can't get away with in finals. So it's too far gone if we hadn't thought about that already. It's been this build-up over the last sort of 8-9 weeks to make sure we're right at our best, playing our best football. Goody, as you've seen, has tried a lot of things, especially in the forward half of the ground. So I feel like we're not going to die trying this time around, which is a really exciting place to be in. Personally, my body had some issues towards the end of last year as well, but I feel fresh. I feel like I've been able to learn from those mistakes I did last year, and there's a lot of other people in the same boat.
So you're timing your run pretty well, you reckon?
Yeah, but like I said before, so are Giants and Carlton and Sydney and all the other teams, Brisbane, that are on hot runs. So we feel like we are timing our run. We feel like we've been good throughout the year, but these last sort of 4 or 5 weeks we've been playing footy that we think stands up in the last month.
Obviously a lot made of Brodie in your partnership. Do you think him playing ruck and sharing that role for a bit of the year has actually helped you reach this point of the season in better shape?
It's a good question because I've got a pretty big ego at times, and I like to think that I can shoulder it throughout a season if we didn't have Brodie. But I certainly think it has helped both of us. We're both feeling fit, fresh and healthy at this time of the year, which is really good to have 2 dominant rucks both feeling fresh in September. To answer the following question, I don't know what it looks like over the next 3 weeks. I do know I'll have complete confidence if he does get picked to be able to go straight back to Gawn Grundy version 4.0 and see if we can do it again. But I know last time we played Collingwood, myself and Brodie played pretty well. So I'm sure they're contemplating that in match committee.
The fact that he had 33 touches and 30 odd outs, a couple of goals in the VFL, we already know the quality that Brodie brings, but the fact that he brings form to the table, does that make a difference, do you think?
It's a day out, isn't it? He played some really good footy. He's been training well the last 2 or 3 weeks as well to set himself up for that game. We all knew it was coming. Probably didn't know it was coming in that many numbers, but He's set himself up really well. And so is Tom McDonald, so is James Jordan, so is Tajwell Woden. Any way the coaches go, a bit what I was talking about before, how we've tried a lot of things this year. We've seen all those guys play in the back half of the year, which is maybe something we didn't see in 2022. We're probably stuck on that one team. So I'm completely confident whichever way they go. Obviously, there is a move. Melksham is out, so there has to be a move. But I'm sure Goody's pretty confident with the amount of times he's tried different things that the option he takes with the guys that are in form, it's going to work.
Talk about lessons learned last year. There was a sense, or there was certainly a perception that you ran out of gas. You had such a hot start, and you didn't have, you couldn't go up a gear when the inevitable challenges happened in September. You feel better placed this time, and it's in light of what happened last year, that you timed your run better.
Yeah, I certainly think we've learnt a lot more throughout this year on both game style and ourselves. Last year, I mean, you can be excused winning 7 in a row to win a grand final, then winning 10 in a row following up that were almost untouchable. Like, we didn't say that, but that could be a potential thought. And then we got knocked off. We did run out of gas. We hardly changed the side. We sort of became a bit boring and predictable within finals. So that's something that I feel like the whole club's changed. I feel like we've got different ways to score, we've got different ways to defend. I still think the big thing in football and the big thing with us is our defence. And it is holding up really well. Like that Sydney game on the weekend to keep them to around 50 points is really still our one wood. But yeah, hopefully we've got a few other woods in the bag now and we can throw a few things at finals.
Max, Nathan Jones spoke yesterday and said that he'd like Tom McDonald to be the man to come in. Do you agree with it?
Jonesy. Yeah, look, I'm a big Tom McDonald fan, have been for a long time. I know he had 5 or 6 shots on goal. He moved really well at training today, which is good because Tommy had been hampered for the last sort of 10, 11 weeks. So to be able to see him fit, fresh, firing, he's an extremely positive guy. So like I said, whichever way they go, I'm happy to play with either of Tom, Brodie, Josh, or if they go small with Charlie or James Jordan, because we've tried them all and they've all performed at AFL level.
What do you make of Collingwood's late season sort of less decline in form or results? Is there any parallels to what you went through last year as a team, or is that a stretch?
I think that's a stretch. Probably a better question to ask Darcy, I dare say. But look, Collingwood are still the best team in it. They've won the minor flag by a game on top, or 2 games. They cleared it by round 23. We're expecting them at their best, and to be fair, they were at their best the very last game they played. They won by 100 at the G on a Friday night. So yeah, I'm excited for the battle. Obviously, we got the Chocolates Queen's birthday, but they beat us twice last season. So yeah, it's going to be a fun one to play.
Just on Brodie, you were obviously really key to his move here originally and very hands-on in the process. How hands-on have you been in the last 5, 6, 7 weeks dealing with him out of the side and keeping contact with him and making sure his spirits are high?
Yeah, well, the thing that works out well with us is we train on each other. So there's a lot of communication, a lot of talk. We're still teaching each other little tricks that both of us didn't know each other had. So I'm still incredibly close with Brodie. Hopefully he says the same thing. But yeah, I'm still bullish that it'll work. There is this narrative that potentially it's suiting me, the fact that Brodie's not out there, but I just feel like I was miserably out of form at times when Brodie was in the team, and I wasn't helping that combination myself. So luckily I probably had the little C next to my name, and it was probably a bit easier to get rid of Brodie than it was to me at the time, but I certainly wasn't going well. So I feel like the both of us can get going and can make it work. Obviously he's here for a while. With a 5-year contract, and I've still got another couple of years. I told Goody another 5 today, so the both of us get going. I'm sure we can work it out.
Just on that, there's a narrative that he might be gone at the end of, when they talk about narratives, there's an outside talk that he might be gone at the end of this year. Just your thoughts on that and how much you want him, you talk about your ego and 4.0, etc. How much do you want him to stay so you can keep this sort of project going?
Yeah, there's about 250 little players that might move this year. There's a lot of chat. We're gaining a lot of good players and losing a lot of good players if you listen to the noise. But look, I can only go on what I've been given, and Brodie's here for a long time. And like it has taken us both with the ego that we didn't make this work at early stages, but I still think we can. I mean, I've got some excuses. I feel like we played in a couple of wet games, but we won't go down that path. But I'm still very, very bullish. We've got a long time to make it work.
One guy who's been a bit under the radar, we all know his problems at the start of the year, but I think Christian Salem hasn't missed a game since he came back in. Just your thoughts on sort of his back half of the year, especially given what he was confronted with at the start of the year?
Yeah, Sales is one of our biggest competitors. I think what you see on the outside is his silky left foot, and that's fair enough because it is a pretty silky left foot. But in terms of what we value internally, it's certainly he doesn't get beaten a one-on-one, and he's competitive. Which, if you look at the Melbourne DNA, I feel like they're two things that we would put pretty high up on our whiteboard. So yeah, we missed him in that first half of the year, and he's come in and he's played a role, and he's probably freed up Trent Rivers in the same way. So now Trent can play a bit higher and as a dashing half back and come into the middle because Salem's back into the team and doing some really good stuff as a one-on-one player.
Was Jack Viney stiff not to make the Australian team?
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole Melbourne team was stiff, to be honest. No, look, the All-Australian it's a tremendous honour. Track's now got 4, which puts him up there with some of the best in the business. I certainly would have put Jack in my team, but I'm sure a lot of people would have had the other guys in their team, so it's not really my place to comment.
You spoke about your form a bit there, Max, that you weren't totally happy with through the middle of the year. Do you see this game against Collingwood in particular one where you can stamp your authority on the finals?
Yeah, look, obviously when it got put to me a little bit about this forward ruck stuff, I thought, oh yeah, all right, I can go forward and just do my thing up forward, and it wasn't that easy. I tried pretty hard to see if it can work. Obviously, I think we had some conditions that weren't suited to playing as a tall forward, but I felt like I was really struggling and letting the team down at different times as just being as a tall forward. And then you see, like Track, for example, come in and just look like he's played forward his whole life. So it was disappointing. And then when I got the chance to do some stuff in the ruck by myself, I feel like I had a point to prove and show people I can still play footy and I can still do it. But I'd like to be able to do that with the hyphenated role as well and be able to do it as a forward. So if Brodie does come back in this week, I'm really excited to give it another go. Like I said, I got that ego and I want to be known as someone that can play forward. If Brodie doesn't come back in and we share it with Tom and Jacob, I'm more than happy to take on the number 1 ruck role as well against 2 guys that do it pretty well in Darcy and Mason.
You haven't lost any advantage playing at the G. You're up against the Magpie Army, who are always pretty loud and proud. What are your message to the Demons faithful to try to drown them out?
Yeah, we've got an away final first up. No, look, a Collingwood game of the G, especially when it gets in that last quarter, is pretty loud. But I'm pretty bullish on our club. We're becoming a big club. We've been playing in the last 3 final series as top 4 contenders. We've had 70,000 members just released this week. When I first got to the club, we were in the 30s, aiming for 40. Then the second year, we were like 40. Let's see if we can get 45 this year. Now, all of a sudden, we're sitting at 70 with a team that constantly makes top 4. With some really good structure around it, a coach that's signed for a long time. We've got what I think the best 2 midfielders in the competition, signed on 9-year deals. I think the club's in a really healthy spot, so I'm excited to take it into finals this year. I'm excited to give it a good chance at trying to win this 23 Cup. Obviously, there's 7 other teams that are pretty hot at the moment, but our club couldn't be in a better spot now.